So when I stopped selling agency services and instead started selling systems, I made a lot more money whilst working with fewer clients. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over the client acquisition systems model and show you how I was able to make $10,000 cash collected completely from cold leads who didn't even know me in just 25 days. So follow along, because after this video, I want to make you a client acquisitions expert. So let's get right into it. Now, the first step, right, of being able to collect $10,000 from completely cold leads that didn't even know me, right, is picking a B2B niche, right? So there's multiple different industries and niches that you can go into to start selling client acquisition systems: manufacturing, service agencies, suppliers, commercial real estate, legal services for businesses, corporate training providers, medical equipment suppliers, IT infrastructure providers, environmental consulting, logistics, supply chain management, energy solution providers, corporate insurance services, and much more than that, right? And the way you can do that is simply by going onto ChatGPT and asking for the best industries that could use some help with client acquisition in the B2B space. Right? And what I went with is service agency. The reason why I did that is because I have agency experience in the past. I know what problems they're experiencing. I know how to speak to them, right? I know their industry lingo, right? And I just knew a lot about that specific niche. Now, the first thing we want to do after picking our industry is identifying the need and the problem, right? And what I used is a GPT extension or GPT bot called Deep Research, right? And then I basically prompted it saying, I want you to do deep research onto service-based agencies, marketing, SEO, paid ads, email marketing, and understand their current client acquisition process, what problems they face, and what goals they might have, right? And I specifically said agencies that have 1 to 10 employees. Now, after that, right, obviously with a bit more prompts, I was able to basically do some market research, right? I was able to identify their current client acquisition strategies, the current challenges faced, right, their goals as well. And with this market research, what we are trying to do is basically create different angles of approaches, right? How are we going to approach them, right? So I want to come up with 3 angles or maybe 4 angles, right? For example, angle 1 could be something like calling out, the fact that they rely on referrals from existing clients for their client acquisition. I could be like, are referrals being inconsistent for you, right? Or are you leaving your personal income or your business income to your clients, right? Something like that. Angle 2 could be something about SEO, right? I know a lot of these agencies, they try to do SEO, but obviously it could take a long time to actually, gain anything from that, right? Inbound marketing, social media content, paid advertising. Paid advertising an angle could be there, like high acquisition costs, right? There's so many different angles that you could come up with. But the first thing I did was come up with 3 angles, right, that I could use to approach them with, right? Now, what angles are is essentially, just the call out, right? What are we calling out, right? Because some people are going to resonate more with, maybe the majority of the leads that I'm going to be targeting. Maybe they will resonate more with that they have to currently rely on referrals, right? Or maybe some of them will resonate more that they currently have to do SEO and it's taking a long time and it's not really leading to any substantial amount of appointments for them, right? Angle 3 could be like maybe if they're currently running ads and I reach out to them at the perfect time and I say, oh, your acquisition cost too high, right? That could resonate with them. I'm just trying to find stuff that will sort of catch their attention, right? Based on what their current situation is when it comes to client acquisition, right? Challenges faced, you can see here, right? Securing new clients is obviously the primary concern, right? Time constraints, cash flow management, retention, keeping up with industry trends. These are all challenges that they face and the goals that they have, right? So basically do some deep research. You can use this GPT to do or to help you out with that. And then you could also check out Reddit, you could check out Quora, you could join Facebook groups, right? If there are any Facebook groups with your target market, you could see what people are talking about, what people are in need of help with, right? And basically just create like a document, right, with all the research done, because the more information you're going to be able to collect on that particular industry, the more creative you're going to be able to get, right? And by creativity, I mean angles, right? It's not enough just to say, hey, are you currently struggling with generating leads? Well, we can generate you 50 leads, right? It's not enough. It's just, that's a very basic message, right? We want to hit them, right? We really want to hit them in regards to what their current situation is, and very specific current situation, right? So yeah, this is kind of what I did when, I first started up this offer. Essentially, pick an industry, right, that could, use some help with client acquisition, identify their needs, identify their problems, identify their challenges, their goals, right? Do some market research, and then sit with that information and start just brainstorming different angles that you could approach them with. Step 2, right, building out my assets. Right? So what do I mean by assets, right? These are assets that basically my leads or my potential prospects, my potential clients could have a look at to basically educate themselves more on my company, who I am, and what my solution is, right? So the first thing is I want to create a show, like an overview video, right, which basically showcases my strategy in brief, right? My client acquisition strategy. It's usually like 5 minutes long, and I can use that video to send out to people who are asking for more information. I can send it out to people who booked a call, right? And I could put it into my nurturing sequence where they can see that and kind of understand the strategy, see if they like it. If they like it, they can find out more about it on the call together. I have my website, right? And my website is not a basic website. Like I have multiple different websites, and the specific website that I built for that is basically I had the entire website copy that I used on there specifically written to my ICP that I identified in my market research, right? So I specifically talked about their problems. I specifically talked about their goals, and basically presented my solution, right? And I wrote my copy in a way that they would understand it, right? So I wasn't trying to target everyone and anybody with my copy. I was specifically talking to that particular individual, right? To my target ICP. So I also had a VSL, and again, the VSL was like, I think it's like 8 minutes long, and it further, speaks to the ICP. They can see my face, right? That's super important. They see my face. They know I'm a real person. They can see my, previous experience with scaling my agency. And yeah, basically I further sell the call, right? With the VSL, you always want to sell the call. You don't want to sell, the strategy or solution, right? You can mention it in brief, but your objective for VSL should always be to sell the call, right? To create more curiosity to sell that call so they book in a call. I also had a software that tracked page visits, right? And it would basically scrape emails from people that would visit my page. And I would have a new sort of email campaign that would automatically put these leads in to that campaign, right? So if I'm reaching out to, let's say, 10,000 people, right? 10,000 people, and let's say I only had 1,000 people reply to me, right? But also, let's say I had 1,000 people check out my website, but didn't reply to me, right? Now, I'm not going to waste those other 1,000 people. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add them to a new campaign, right? That already knows that they visited my website, meaning they had some interest, right, in sort of potentially speaking to me. So I would create that new campaign. I would basically, create a sequence specifically for that particular buyer sort of stage where, they were sort of interested, but weren't too much interested enough to, reply to my initial email. That means maybe I could send them more information. Maybe I could send them another offer. Thank you page, super important, right? On the thank you page, I have another video talking about expectations. I have FAQs. I have more, sort of case studies from my own personal experience, right? I also have a 5-step email sequence, which they get added to after they book a call, right? And this is not just, Calendly reminders. I have Calendly reminders set up for every of my calls, but I also have a separate sequence specifically for that, right? Specifically for book calls. And in those sort of email sequences, I'm focusing on selling 3 different things, right? Selling the strategy, selling the company, selling the outcome, right? These 3 things is what I'm focusing on selling prior to the call, right? So by the time they jump on a call, if they consume the content that I sent them through my email, then, they are probably already sort of pre-sold, or the interest is really high to work with me. Now, in order to be able to build out effective assets, you need to understand buyer stages, right? There's problem aware, solution unaware. There's problem aware, solution aware, and there's product aware, right? And in these different stages, you want to have different types of assets that you could send to the prospect, right? So, for example, with my, once they book a call on the thank you page with the 5-step email sequence, I'm sending them case studies, right? I'm sending them the solution, right? Giving them, essentially more information about the specific strategy, right? Selling my company as well, selling the outcome with my case studies and so forth, right? So you got to understand buyer stages if you want to, write effective copies and create effective assets that you can send out to your leads, right? Because if, let's say, a lead is problem aware but solution unaware, means they know they have a client acquisition problem, but they just, they're not aware of a solution that they could implement. Then sending them, these two sort of assets like case studies, selling the solution stuff is like, it wouldn't really make sense, right? You got to educate them more on what solutions are there out there, just broadly speaking. Problem aware, solution aware, you got to sell them on your solution. Why is your solution the best thing, right, for them? Product aware case studies, right? Further back up your solution, why it works, and prove that it works, right? So yeah, understanding buyer stage is super, super important when building out your assets. Step 3, building out my acquisition system, right? So the methodology I use and I created is the Prospect Prism methodology, which focuses on 3 different things: pattern interruption, resonance, and high volume. You achieve these 3 things, you are never, ever, 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 ever going to struggle with client acquisition, right? 3 things is all you need, and you'll never struggle with client acquisition. So pattern interruption, resonance, high volume. Pattern interruption. What can I say to stand out from thousands of other people reaching out to them? Because I know I'm not the only person reaching out to them, right? I know that for a fact. So what can I do or say in my message that will make me stand out from the rest? And that is having a unique mechanism and a unique messaging and packaging of that mechanism, right? So, for example, right, let's say, I don't know, you are a Facebook ad agency, right? Or you're a Facebook ad lead gen agency, right now. And when you reach out to your prospects, you say like, hey, can we, generate you leads? And they ask you, okay, like, how are you going to do it? You're like, oh, through Facebook ads. They're not interested, right? Why? Because currently, you got to understand right now the market's like really sophisticated, meaning the market is really aware of like all the other agencies that are out there selling similar services, right? Like Facebook ads. Now, if I'm a company, right, that worked with a Facebook ad agency in the past, 50-60% times I'm burnt, right, by that agency. Next time another agency reaches out to me wanting to work with me, right, and that agency tells me, oh yeah, we're a Facebook ads agency, right? Either if they can tell me a very, very unique strategy that I haven't tried before in the past, right, a very specific, unique strategy within Facebook ads, I'm not going to work with them, right? Because I already have a preconception about Facebook ad agencies, or a certain belief about them, because I've had a bad experience, right? And the brain remembers bad experiences, and it will try to avoid that bad experience from happening again, right? So if you reach out to a prospect and you have nothing unique about what you do, right, meaning you're just a Facebook ad lead gen agency, on your website you just have no unique strategy, nothing, they're not going to work with you, right? Or it might be a very hard sell. You might have to, play on price, right, and price your stuff down, right? You got to understand, the human brain and kind of how it works when it comes to acquisition, right? You got to understand the different stages these people are in, and how you can break past sort of their filtering mechanism that their brain creates to, process external information. Resonance, right? Is this going to matter to that person? There's no point in reaching out to a 7-figure CEO about marketing, right? Yes, they will care about marketing. They're not going to care about it as much compared to their CMO. Right now, understandable if a CEO is for a smaller company, obviously they probably do the marketing, a lot of the times themselves as well, or maybe they have a small team. But if it's a 7-figure CEO, they're not going to care about marketing. Now, it's just an example that I'm giving you to understand what I mean by resonance, right? Meaning targeting the right person with the right message, right? The right person with the right message. So this is why we do research, and this is why we create ICPs, right? That client profiles, right? Because when it comes to writing our messages, we need to write those messages as if I'm like sitting down at a coffee shop right now next to that specific client profile, right? And I want them to get interested in starting a conversation with me with one sentence, right? So if I say that one sentence, are they going to reply to me or not? Are they going to be interested or not, right? High volume, right? If I want 30 appointments with a 0.5% appointment booking rate, I need to reach out to 6,000 people and send 12,000 emails in total, right? For example, right? Obviously, this is on a conservative side. You could definitely get a lot more appointments with 12,000 emails per month. Now, a lot of people misconcept high volume with just, I'm just going to spam and it's going to work out. Well, I mean, it could, but it's not going to work as well as if you included these two things as well, right? Because there's a difference between spamming, right? And there's a difference between reaching out properly at a high level, right? Because spamming, right, you're essentially sending messages to people you haven't researched, to people you don't understand, and you're just hoping for the best, right? Now, reaching out at a high level is essentially reaching out to as many people as possible, but you've still been able to research these people and make your message relevant to them and their specific situation. So, right person, right time, right message. That's the motto for, making sure you're getting replies and appointments. So, breaking down the math, if, let's say, we send 20 emails per day per account, that's 480 emails a day. We need 24 accounts, right? Google, Outlook accounts, whatever. We connect them to Instantly or Smart Lead, right? And then we have email 1, which presents our offer, and email 2, which restates our offer again, right? The emails have to be direct, short, and have a clear call to action. What I mean by clear call to action is, can it be replied with a yes or a no? If it can be replied with a yes or no, and the person needs to think about how they're going to reply, they're never going to reply. People hate to think, right? People hate consuming calories, right? When they think. So you got to make it easy for them, right? Frictionless. And you also got to be able to track data every single day, right? This is what makes you stand out from the rest, is being able to track data and leaving your emotions out of client acquisition, and only, data is the only person that will tell you what's working, what's not. No coach, no guru, no mentor, no one. No one can have a look at your whole client acquisition process, right, and tell you if it's working or not working without data, right? So you need data. You gather feedback from data, you iterate, and you get better and better. The way it works, theory-based client acquisition: inputs, processes, outputs, market feedback, inputs, processes, outputs, market feedback, several different iterations until you hit a mark, right? So for example, your inputs here would be your offer, your message. Process would be, the actual act of sending these emails, and outputs will be your response rate, appointment booking rates, and positive responses. You collect that data. That's basically the market telling you what it likes, what it doesn't like. You iterate again, you create better message, better offer, better call to action, maybe put it in the process again, send it to 1,000 leads, get market feedback, and keep doing that until you hit your KPIs, right? Which is like a 0.5% appointment booking rate, or even a 0.7% appointment booking rate, whatever your KPIs are. You set your KPIs and you don't give up until you're able to reach them, right? Now, once I obviously set everything up, when it comes to working with my clients, I do the same thing for them, right? I repeat the process, right? Now, this is what I mean by selling the system to your clients, right? We're not just operating as a lead generation agency where we're okay, we'll create an offer, we'll scrape some leads, and we'll start sending emails, and that's it, right? You come in as a client acquisitions partner, right? And think of yourself as a partner, right? You're gonna come in, you're gonna get all the data from your clients. You're going to have a look at their entire database, right? You're going to look at the type of leads they're getting. You're going to look at the type of funnels they're running, the type of messages they're using, the type of, sales calls they're taking, right? If they have any sales calls recording, watch them as well to understand it, right? Because you're not only focused on generating leads, you're focused on conversions, right? You're focused on converting those leads into actual paying clients for your clients. So you can charge like a $3,000 setup fee. I know guys charging $10,000 in setup fees for this. Charge $200 per appointment the system brings. Client 1, client 2, client 3. All you need is 3 clients to be able to, essentially make $10,000 a month, right? Pure profit, pure performance, right? Each client gets 16 appointments. If you, do everything that I told you in this video to do, that's 3,200, 3,200, 3,200 per month from each client. Now the clients are happy because they're not paying you retainers, they're paying you in just performances, right? And if they close 1 or 2 of these 16 appointments, they make their money back. If their LTV is high, they make their money back, right? So now your goal as a client acquisition systems agency is not to just provide your clients with leads, but instead optimize their entire sales process with your unique mechanisms according to their ICP. Everyone has a different strategy when it comes to client acquisition. There's no cookie cutter strategy, right? I have my own strategy. Someone else might have their own strategy. Someone else might have their own strategy, right? And basically, like kind of what you do, and just to kind of give you understanding, you do ICP-based research, overall market research, tech setup and sales process refinement, trackers, CRMs, automations, funnels, website setters, dialers, pitch decks, sales scripts, etc., right? You look at their entire sales process because you want them to convert your appointments to actual clients. You track data, you optimize the core message, you find market offer alignment, you fix bottlenecks within their acquisition systems as you work together, and you help them with creating lead assets. Right? Essentially, you're creating a system that is unique to their specific business rather than just being a cookie cutter agency, right? A system that has a low chance of breaking at scale, right? And if you, as a client acquisition expert, actually dedicate your time and perfect your craft over time, right? You're going to be able to charge a lot of money to help businesses make a lot of money as well, right? If you become a client acquisition expert, I'm telling you, you're never, ever, ever, ever going to struggle, right? Because if you know how to take a cold lead, convert them into a paying client, right? You can scale any high ticket offer. You can scale your own businesses, right? You can help other businesses scale, right? And essentially, you possess the skill of making money, right? So this is the core message I'm trying to give you guys. But yeah, apart from that, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. If you have any questions, comment down below. I try to get back to all of my comments. If you haven't checked out my other video on selling systems rather than services, make sure to check it out somewhere here. Click on it. Really good video. But yeah, if you found value, maybe subscribe. And if you want to basically start selling client acquisition systems and become a client acquisition expert, make sure to check out my link in the description below. Book a call with me and my team, and we'll sit down, we'll create a whole roadmap for you to start becoming a client acquisition expert. So yeah, apart from that, I'll see you guys on the next video.